What if real Polish walk the earth and live by? What if this is God's work? What if real Polish walk the earth and live lives fit for a prophet's birth, spreading ancient wisdom like the Coptic Church, and those that know what they're hearing know that they're hearing something special. And perhaps eventually a point to be sent here just to bless you. Test you in this world of lies, and if you feel your eyes crying because they recognize it, what they're seeing is the truth. And the chills of your spine will find absolute proof that in this now, where politicians and clergy are proving themselves unworthy of your time, and television shows and music videos are proving themselves unworthy of your mind, don't be surprised to find that God is especially present in poetry dens. Guiding poets' pens, and not just those men who pretend to be closer to God than you by making you ashamed of your sins when the lives that they've lived may not have been what God intends for your salvation. What if this is God's work? What if the Creator realized that creation isn't perfect, but only wishes for us to worship sincerely, to not be hypocrite, but to really be concerned about our fellow man, to stand against injustice and false perpetuated in God's name in foreign lands? What if this is God's work? What if the poets are closer to Muhammad, Buddha, and Jesus than the preachers? I said, what if the poets are closer to Muhammad, Buddha, and Jesus than the preachers? I mean, think about it, y'all. Which of us have been closer to the streets, and which of us have been closer to Caesar? Which of us have been high up on the hog, and which of us are the poor righteous teachers? What if this is God's work? And if so, then poetry is sacred. So ye poets be concerned, would you step up on this stage with it, be on your job, because if this is God's work, then stealing from the poor is the same thing as stealing from God. It's not about your use of sexuality or profanity. It's about whether you use your tools for ahs and oohs, or whether you use your tools to improve humanity. What if this is God's work? No blasphemous half hell to pay, so I wouldn't say anything in Providence tonight that I wouldn't be comfortable repeating on Judgment Day. What if this is God's work, y'all? Let us pray.
Welcome, everybody. We're getting all ready, just playing a few things as we get people settled. While you are here early, how about test your microphone in case you're called to speak, or test your camera as well. All right. I'm gonna put up a couple of things. Jordan Lloyd, so glad that you're here. Cheryl, glad that you are here as well.
Hey, this is Jordan.
Hey,
can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear. Very good, my brother. So glad that you're here.
Let's see if I can get this video going.
All right, great. There you go. Good, great.
Hey, good evening, everyone. Because if you'll make me co-host, I'll handle the waiting room.
Well, I'll make you host, and you, well, actually co-host, because there's no breakout room today. All right.
That's correct.
All right. I'm just going to play a little classic while we get folks to come in. A little Talam AECC classic that may be fitting for the time.
There's nothing more romantic than fantasy, and we make the war on terror distract them like videos and TV shows with scantily clad women covering with oil, rub it in like lotion, put F-16s in the skies and battleships in the ocean. The voters won't notice. Tell them you're either with us or you're against us, and in the same breath over-vaccinate our soldiers. They'll want to believe these lies are the truth, to the point that even Cynthia McKinney with proof won't be able to convince them that there's a connection between the war on terror and the Carlisle group. They'll need to believe these lies are true. I said over-vaccinate our soldiers, and coat their ammunition with radioactive DU. Fear is the final frontier of the defenseless. If it's logical, tell them it's senseless. You're either with us or you're against us. It's all about confusion. Name it the Patriot Act if it acts against the Constitution. One man, one vote is a joke. You should be more concerned about your family being broke. Poof. Mirrors. Smoke. Now, watch me raise spending and lower taxes. The answer to any question that the 911 Commission might ask is, we believe that stem cell research is immoral. North Korea has WMD's translation. Time for Operation Iraqi Freedom. Sacrifice American lives on Baghdad soil. Earn more from our invest in defense and increase our supply of oil. The question is, how come we haven't done anything about the genocide in Darfur? The answer is, we believe in protecting the sanctity of marriage. Just give them a slogan. Let's roll. We're gonna smoke them out of their holes. Watch the hands, watch the hands. In this hand, Osama bin Laden. In this hand, the World Trade Center explodes now. I know you want me to get them for you, but the $200 billion question is, how much is it worth to you for me to allow our cronies' investments in defense to work for you? Don't worry about what we knew prior to the fact about the attacks. That's a distraction. Carol Ann, look away from the oil fields. The important thing to remember is that voting for my opponent will get you killed. There's a connection between his election and your family's demise. That's why African American voters have to be disenfranchised. Neo-democracy means the electronic voting machine companies get to help us decide. That way you can win the election and still lose. That's the new world order. Global economy, no borders, no sovereignty, widow's cries, corporate plutocracy, true lies.
Oh, Cassie, you're muted.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. All right, everybody. So glad that you are here. Just while we get folks into the room, please check your cameras and check your mic, and then mute your mic once you confirm that it is working. All right. So, hello, beloved. How are you? And while we're waiting for some people to come in, why don't we just touch base with each other here? So would you please introduce yourself and what part of the world are you in, or are you broadcasting from?
Greetings.
Hi, my name is
from Columbus, Georgia.
All righty, Mommy Monty, Columbus, Georgia. Mo.
Hi, my name is Vanessa Fitzgerald, and I'm from Cleveland Heights, Ohio.
All right, Vanessa Fitzgerald, Cleveland Heights. Very good. Come on in the house. Mo.
I'm Benita Rivera.
Well, hello, Benita. How are you?
And I'm good, thank you. I'm in Brooklyn, New York.
Yeah, you don't look like you're in Brooklyn. You look like you're in the country someplace. Got the light streaming through. I thought you wanted that you'd split the city and got you a farm.
Wish. It's crazy here.
Yeah. You all right?
Yes, thank you. I'm
You're
good.
welcome. You're welcome. All right, y'all, introduce yourself, who you be, where are you in the world, and how'd you get here?
Any particular order?
No order.
Okay, since I'm the first person I see on the screen, I'm Trenisa Childs, and I'm in Baltimore, Maryland. And I got here because I'm part of a group of mamas called Womb Work, and they recommended this to me, and so I'm here.
So glad that you are here. Baltimore in the house. Come on, Peter.
Greetings, Bob, and everybody. My name is Peter Bleich. I'm here from Baltimore City as well. Not through WombWorks, but probably with connected community members. Here through a local Akonko Marine line through a Baba named Taharka.
So glad you're here. Welcome to the family. Y'all keep it rolling. Who you be, how you get here, where you at, or where you be.
I'll go.
Okay.
My name is Kimberly Braswell. I am coming from Columbus, Ohio, and I'm here based on a connection made by Dr. Charlene Sinclair, and I'm representing Freedom Block.
Mo, Mo. Welcome, welcome, Kimberly.
Greetings, family. This is Nomalanga. I live in Baltimore, and I got here by way of Nelijah. I'm a doula, a birth worker, and a writer.
Mo. So glad. Now, for those of you who don't know, Mo, okay, is from the Twi language. It is also Ga, all right? It is short for Monikasa, which means good speech, good work, all right? So we go Mo, and that's how we kind of join in. It's not Mope, there's no P on it. It's Mo, and that O comes from the solar plexus. Mo. So you can jump in anytime you get ready. All right, so keep on introducing yourself, please. All right, well, I don't mind calling on folks. Nia, who you be? Okay, Essence, you ready to jump?
Yes. Hi, everybody. I'm Essence from Baltimore. I know Elijah, but I was invited by Donna Craig, and I work in HR at a university, doing wellness, actually.
Well, fantastic, fantastic. I'm glad that you're here. Mo. All right, y'all, we like to make a little community. I know we're gonna have some, you know, a town hall meeting and whatever, but you know, it's so important. We like to touch each other as much as we can. I know I do, and that's what Black people need up in here. So, Deborah or Deborah. All right, maybe she can't get to her mic right now. Let's see here. Who hasn't introduced? Hi.
Hello. I had to find my name to unmute myself. Hi, I'm Deborah. I'm calling from Mexico.
Wonderful, Mexico. Excellent, excellent. I'm so glad that you're here. Introduce yourself if you have not, and how'd you get here and where you be?
This is Mama Fua. I'm calling from a sunny today, Chicago.
Mo, mo, mo. All right, all right. Well, as y'all come on in, we may begin to have some folks do that. My name is Wekesa Olatunji Madzimoyo. I am co-director of our Education Institute, along with.
Hi, everybody. I'm Afia.
And she's the co-director of our Education Institute, and my wife of 33 years. I think probably 32 married and 2 years shacking or something like that. You know, I'm getting confused. I'm usually the one to keep the numbers straight. Oh yeah, them 2 years shacking was important. we had to get some things straight. And we did. And so we've lasted, and it's still rolling. Not only are we married, but we're business partners and co-directors of our Education Institute. And for those who don't know, our Education Institute is an African-centered education institute. It serves adults through its personal and leadership development program called Warriors, Healers, and Builders. It also serves adults with adult classes that spin out of that series called Warriors, Healers, and Builders. It also serves middle schools and high school students with a full-time online African-centered program. People who are homeschooling can choose to take some courses, and also, or they can take the whole load and get an IA diploma. When they do, we have an 83.3% rate of them getting full 4-year scholarships. We've been doing it online for 16 years. So long before Zoom was even born or thought of, we've been kicking it. And the beauty, of course, is that we first started offline and we bent the online in order to do what we needed to do. And so that's a bit about our Education Institute. The Institute itself is celebrated its 22nd birthday last November. So we're in our 23rd year right now. And so glad that we are here. And the reason that you are here, or this particular effort, is called Ngolo. Ngolo is a Kikongo word, and Ngolo means energy. It means power. And it was birthed out of the need for a different kind of response than was being encouraged for us in the light of this coronavirus, or that's called COVID-19. That particular, as we listened to folks unfold what this was about to be and the official responses, whether it's from the World Health Organization or CDC or Trump or whomever, we noticed that it was an invitation for us to surrender. And that bothered us. That is, we're to wait and maybe just hope that the virus doesn't cross our door, and we're to wait on that. Or we're to wait till folks in white coats figure out a vaccine. In the middle of, most of those are reasonable things to do. Social distancing is important to stop or slow the spread of the virus. We're not discounting that. And, you know, if folk can come up with a vaccine, I don't say that I'll trust it, but, you know, it may be what they do. But what was curious to me, not curious, what I was pissed about and what I didn't like and what was dangerous, is in the middle was us. And there was no encouragement that we would or should build our immune systems. It was basically sit and wait, and all you can do is be distant. And that was strange to me, because our immune systems are the most powerful things on the planet against a virus, new or old. And there was no encouragement. It was this as if we were asked to just surrender our bodies to either one or the other, okay? And so we decided that we needed a different response. And so we came together 5 weeks ago, and our response is a 5-pronged response. And you may have read it, I'll put it on the screen, and we'll talk about it a little bit, and then we'll get into some parts more. There are 5 pillars to our response. And let me see. First is that we are the cavalry. Now, this is an important first mindset, all right? Yes, we mean that we're going to build our immune systems. We are the cavalry, all right? That's building our own immune systems and believing that our immune systems can do the job. Now, for some people, that's far-fetched, but anybody that knows anything knows that your body will be trying to defend itself. And what better thing to do than to ask people to join together as a nation, for people to grow food, and you know, while folks are social distancing and while folks are working in the lab, it would have been just sensical to have a national call for people to eat right, grow food, you know, build the immune system. And that could be a kind of movement, an active movement. You're doing something. You're not just waiting and hoping, because waiting and hoping is fear-inducing. Isolation and fear combined will depress your immune system, guaranteed. Okay, and so that doesn't make any sense. That's not debatable. You know, that's not like new science. That's old. So to have a response where we were asked to do things that would depress our immune system made no sense to me and to us. And so what we say is, first, we need to decide that our immune systems are strong. Now, that doesn't mean that we don't take precautions. It doesn't mean that we don't take it seriously. It just means we don't discount our own bodies. Y'all know what I'm talking about? All right, does that make sense to anybody besides me?
Yes, Barbara.
And so I started smelling a rat on the line. See, when you don't do what's common sense, then I'd be like, there's something wrong here. Just something wrong about this. So let me just show you how we talk about, because the first step in that first pillar, that we are the cavalry, is for us to believe that our systems, our immune systems, can work if we build them. So let me just show you something else here. All right, this is from World Meter Info. coronavirus. It just keeps track of all the coronaviruses all over the world and what the reports are, all right? And so you'll see here, there are 2,477,682 reported confirmed cases of coronavirus according to the test. Don't get me started about the test, but you just go with that's what we have. Now notice there are, out of that over 2 million, almost 2.5 million now, there's 170,224 deaths worldwide. But look at the number in green, would you? Look at the number in green. Over 500,000, well over 500,000 of those who are confirmed, those who were in critical condition, those who have recovered. I don't mean recovering, they've been discharged. They have recovered. So just keep that in mind and begin to repeat to yourself that over 500,000 people, 645,000. There's an even more powerful and interesting number. I want you to look at the number where it says active cases. You see that? All right, so of the active cases, right, there are 1,662,181 are currently infected patients. If you look down at the left-hand side in blue, what do you think is keeping that 1,605,436, or 97% are in mild condition? Would you tell me? What do you think are keeping that virus in mild condition and their bodies in mild condition? Help me out. Somebody got to tell me.
The immune system.
Their immune system. So that means we already have 645,279 that have won. That is, these are 645,477 cures. Do not let anybody tell you there's no cure for the coronavirus. Now, here's what I want you to do this, okay? Because they'll say like this, they'll say, this is a novel virus. True? Yes. We don't have immunity. True in the sense of the world hasn't developed immunity to it. Then they'll say there's no cure. That's a lie. What's true is they don't have a vaccine for it, okay? It is not true that there's not a cure. I just showed you there are over 277 cures for it. And our job is to make sure that our body become one of them. But not only are there 645,000 cures, there's 1,605,000 that are winning the battle. Imagine if that's the story that's told, okay? It doesn't diminish the danger of it, but it does diminish the fear of it, okay? See, there's a thing about respect and there's a thing about fear. That is, this fear-mongering is a problem because it suppresses our immune system and it sets us up. And what we said, what we have to have is an empowering response to this COVID-19 situation. Powerful enough not only to defeat the virus, but to handle the aftermath. And y'all know, the aftermath is not gonna be pretty, okay? I don't care whether you think it's gonna be mild or whether you think it's gonna be catastrophic, all right? Black people were already on the edge. We're already marginalized. Racism already rampant. So even if it's mild, we got stuff to do. And I believe that I can handle it better when that hits my family, whether it's the virus itself or whether it's the aftermath or both, if I'm healthy and I'm strong, okay? So a key part of when we say we're the cavalry, we mean that. We're not waiting on Fauci, we're not waiting on Trump, we're not waiting on the CDC. Our job is to build our immune systems, both our physical and our social and psychological immune systems. Because this invitation for us to surrender our bodies is an invitation for us to surrender to authority. And for an oppressed people in a racist, classist, oppressive society, that's dangerous, okay? So that's the first pillar, all right? We are, and building our immune system. So we have a protocol that we recommend. If yours is better, love it, keep it, okay? Here's a minimum protocol for it, all right? And that is, there is some, for exercise, there's a minimum called the IAT 180. All right, so I want some people who've been here before to tell me what that is and how you doing with it. What's the IA 180 and how you doing with it?
I got it. It's 25 lunges, 25 sit-ups, 25 push-ups, 25 sit-ups, one more, and there's 80 jumping jacks, and I'm doing good with it. I'm doing good.
Again, y'all, 25 push-ups, sit-ups, lunges, and squats.
Squats.
All right, and if you need to modify them, okay? And then 80 jumping jacks, all right? Now,
yes,
you know, if you need to modify, modify. And as Brother Earl said, if that's too daunting, then pick a number, all right? Any number that you're comfortable with, do it, and then seek to add to it every day. He liked to double it, all right? He got up to 1,500 sit-ups, all right? Changed his, just 1,500 sit-ups changed his whole body, changed his life, okay? Wow. All right, now, so the key is, if you make 180, then do it again, and do it again, right? Now, I'm proud, I gotta brag a little bit, y'all. I'm doing it 3 times a day, all right? Plus I'm cycling, okay? All right, that means every day I'm knocking down 75 sit-ups or more, all right? And push-ups or more, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So is my body feeling stronger after 4 weeks? Yes, it is, okay? After 8 weeks? Yes, okay? Now, as that comes. Now, here's the key. Do what you need to do in terms of respecting your body, but push it, okay? This is part of our push it. Right. Push it so that you have to do like this. Why do I want you to push it? So that you're having to breathe hard, because this is a lung disease, okay? It attacks the lungs. Please don't wait until you are in the hospital trying to fight this virus before you're trying to strengthen your lungs, all right? And if you take a nice leisurely walk, 5 miles or 50 yards, and it's nice and leisurely, it ain't getting it, okay? Whatever you're doing, you're pushing yourself so that you're, and whatever that is for you, it's important that we do that. That's one part of our protocol, exercise, okay? And I just was, somebody sent me today and said they're catching up because there's some official report, now that says, well, exercise will help you, your body against the coronavirus, like duh, okay? And it's just important that, we have been doing this and we're going to continue to do this. And now, let me say one other thing before I leave exercise. This is not the same kind of call, like it'll be nice if you exercise. It'll be nice if you walk. You'll live long, you'll feel better. No, this is war, y'all. I want you to do this like it's boot camp. I want you to take this virus seriously, okay? And I want you to push yourself, okay? I want you to push your body. We need you to push your body. I'm not in a place where I can just say, you know what, my life doesn't matter. A whole lot of people are depending upon me, okay?
I wanted to add something about the exercise.
Yes.
Our family, we like to exercise a lot, and I wanted to say that it's really important for families to do it together because it really brings your energy up.
Yes,
absolutely. We all used to go to CrossFit classes. So at home, we made the living room into like a little CrossFit gym. And we have stations. Then we're like, after 5 minutes, switch. And we're lifting weights. And my little 8-year-old has the weight bar with the 20 pounds. And we had the music going. And and my husband's recording it. So it's really a lot of fun. So what I'm saying is that just because you're a warrior and you're going to war doesn't mean you can't be like rah, rah, rah with it.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, I love it. No. Have fun, please.
You got to make it, fun and exciting. And it's a bonding experience to be with your family and do it together.
Beautiful. Fantastic, y'all. If you didn't know it, then think about it. You heard it from Trenisa. You heard it from Trenisa. Okay, we don't care where it comes from. If it's good stuff, y'all take it on in. That's how we roll. The point that I'm making is many times we've heard these things before. We've heard exercise. Except for now, we're talking about life or death. Okay? And so, and as Trinicia said, as you do this, you model for others. You let them know what's possible. You inspire them. Okay? So please do. We formed a Facebook group called Ngolo Movement. There's also an Ngolo Gardens. I'll tell you about that in a minute. But Ngolo Movement, please join, because we're going to, that's where we put up, we're struggling with our sit-ups or having fun in the middle of the room with our family, so that we inspire each other to actually exercise and to get our lungs strong and get our bodies strong so that we can defeat the virus. All right? So that's one part of our protocol. Another part of our protocol is to eat leafy green vegetables and eat a plant-based diet as much as you can. Plenty of leafy green veggies, whether you plant-based or not. And the more plant-based you can go, the better it is. All right, number 3, cut sugar out.
You said what?
I heard it like it hurt. I heard somebody say, oh, oh.
That's terrible. I thought I was on the microphone with you.
It's all good. I love it, Ellen. I love it. That's how I feel. Oh.
I feel like a drug addict.
You know, because folks like, some people say, take it low. No, cut it out. We can do anything for 8 weeks.
You're right, Baba.
No, we can do anything for 8 weeks, all right? Now, here's particularly why. Your immune system, when it responds to this virus, it responds in 4 phases. It's a 4-stage defense system, okay? If you're writing it, write it down, taking notes. So if you got a photographic memory, boom, you got it. The first stage is tissue macrophages, right? Your red blood cells, your white blood cells migrated from your blood and reside in your tissue, so that once it recognizes anything foreign in the tissue, boom, those tissue macrophages go to work immediately, called tissue macrophages, all right? Now, those macrophages are monocytes. They were monocytes, which are a kind of white blood cells, and they call monocytes when they're in the blood. That's stage 3. The first stage is macrophages. And macrophages need certain vitamins, which is another part of the protocol. They need vitamin D. Please write it down. They need 10,000 international units of vitamin D per day. And how do you get that? It's so hard. It's about to be May. How do you get 10,000? And I'm not talking about supplements. We'll deal with that in a minute. I'm talking about natural bone vitamin D3, and you can get it by spending a half hour in the sun between 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock. Okay? Now, just because folks told you to shelter in place, y'all don't stay in your house literally. Okay? Get on the fire escape. I used to live in Brooklyn. I used to live in the Bronx. You know, get on the fire escape, get on the roof, get on the porch. You know, if you're down south, get on the porch. If you're in New York, New Jersey, get on the stoop, okay? But get some sun, all right? Because you need to make vitamin D, all right? And if you come on Saturday, we'll break down melanin, vitamin D, and why not vitamin D supplements, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, okay? But right now, understand that your first phase of your immune system's fight is tissue macrophages, and they need zinc and vitamin D that you can make from the sun. Now, if you're in a place where you just can't get out, find vitamin D3 supplements, okay? But yeah, don't try to do 10,000 international units in supplements though. Please don't do that, okay? You can get liver toxicity, all right? And if you come, I'll tell you, when we cover in melanin why the vitamin D test that has several people on this call on vitamin D supplements, why it's wrong. The short version is the test is wrong. The test tests something, a protein that's a proxy for vitamin D3 for white folks, but it is not for us. It has to do with genetics and it has to do with our development. And we didn't need a protein to bind to vitamin D2. We step out in the sun, boom, and we got all the vitamin D3 we need. So we didn't need the protein. And the test is for a protein that Black people did not develop in the ways white folks. So it's wrong. And for those of you who want to question that, I'll just give you one anomaly. If you're vitamin D deficient, and I don't say that Black people are vitamin D deficient, at the same time, Black people have the highest bone density of any group of people on the planet, in America. You cannot have high bone density and be vitamin D3 deficient. They don't make sense, okay? And so, but if you want to know more about that, take our class on Saturday and I'll give you the references and the details and whatever. Back to the protocol. You want to get in the sun. It's part of our protocol. You want to spend a half hour a day, at least more if you can, in the sun so that our bodies can make the vitamin D. The other thing that's unique to our approach is you're not only making vitamin D, you're activating your melanin, right? Melanin is a healer. Now, this is a part of our protocol that you will not find us straight up saying you need to activate your melanin to help to heal your lungs and any other part of your body. Okay, melanin is not just a protector from the ultraviolet rays of the sun. Melanin is a healer. And so in addition to activating your body to make more melanin by going into the sun, we want you to also get your rest, because rest and water is critical for your successfully defeating this virus. What do we mean by rest? Try to get in bed by 11:30. Remind me of Richard Pryor, better be home by 11:30. Okay. Why? Because at 12 midnight, your pineal gland secretes melatonin, not melanin. That melatonin goes to the pituitary and it kicks out what's called MSH, melanin stimulating hormone, and that goes to your melanocytes and tells them to produce more melanin. So both being in the sun and getting rest will help with your body's building melanin. Now,
Robert, I'm
yes.
sorry. Can you repeat what you said about 12 midnight and the melatonin?
Okay. At 12 midnight, generally, that's the time when your pineal gland secretes the largest amount of melatonin. Got it?
Yeah.
That melatonin, not to be confused with melanin, okay? Melatonin goes to the pituitary. The pituitary stimulates something called MSH, melanin stimulating hormone. That hormone, because you know what hormones do, hormones give instruction, grow a beard, begin to develop. Hormones give your body instructions for what to do, and those hormones go to your melanocytes and say, baby, kick it up, kick it up. Okay, so you both have the sun activating your melanin, and you also have your pineal gland and your pituitary, if you are getting the rest that you need. And anybody, if you do any research on what's needed to fight this virus, being rested is really critical. All right, so activating your, there's one other thing about melanin, and that is to eat foods that are high in allomelanins. And I know there's some folks that you've heard of eumelanin, and you've heard of neuromelanin, all right, and you've heard of pheomelanin. If you don't, you come to the class on Saturday. But I'm going to tell you a little bit about allomelanins. And allomelanins are those things, are foods, all right? And this is melanin in plants. And so let me just show you a little bit about that. All right, this is from the presentation that we do called Melanin as a Healer. This is a black mushroom. All of these are black mushrooms, different kinds, right? The next thing here, for those of you who don't know, is not a walnut. This is garlic, a bulb of garlic. It's fermented, only means is you cook it at a consistent temperature, or you let it stay at a consistent temperature in a crock pot or a melanin fermenter, not melanin, excuse me, a garlic fermenter, and it turns like this. And other places. Most of us have heard of echinacea, but we don't know that melanin extracted from echinacea is very, very powerful. This other plant over here is saw palmetto. My point to you is that, oh, there's one more. Over here to the right, there is black seed, that is cumin seed. I take 3 a day. I'm taking black seed oil. I'm taking saw palmetto. I'm taking what they call forbidden rice. Y'all know what forbidden rice is? Have you ever had black rice? I don't mean brown rice. I mean black rice.
All day, every day.
Go get it. Okay. So I'm going to have 3 varieties of aloe melanin. Okay. You can mix it and match it. Okay. Because the aloe melanins heal, specifically, they help to heal our immune system. Okay. They activate the monocytes. All right. So I told you about the macrophages. That's stage 1. Stage 2 is neutrophils. This is your body fighting back. Stage 2, all right, while the macrophages are doing their thing, minutes after, within the hour, neutrophils that are white blood cells circulating in the blood, they get there and they're like, come on, we hitting it. And so your neutrophils is stage 2. All right, what do they need? They need vitamin C. Okay. And so I juice me some oranges or squeeze lemons and water. All right, so I'm making sure that I'm feeding my body so that my immune system can be, boom. I am not hoping, okay? Now, y'all, don't get me wrong, hope is critical. And prayer is critical. But my mama, and for those of you who happens to be able to see the person, Bonnie, whose name is Bonnie, she's my sister, and that woman that's her background is my mama, okay? And she was a reverend, and she always taught me that faith without work is dead. So prayer is fine, but I want a prayer that my strategy will work. Notice, right? That I have a strategy, and I'm implementing that strategy, and I pray that that strategy will work, or another one will be revealed to me. That is not the same thing as I'm just gonna sit here and pray that the virus don't come into my house. Or pray that we can't touch somebody. Right? Hope is necessary, but it is not a strategy. We're talking about a show enough strategy here, okay? So understanding now, and let me tell you, we also don't buy in to that you can't understand these 4 stages of the immune system fighting that I'm getting laid on you, because you can't. Any foolishness that somehow this is so deep that you can't handle it because it's multi-syllables, is crazy, and it's miseducation and racist as hell, and we ain't buying it, okay? So the first stage is macrophage, and I said it needs vitamin D and zinc. The second stage is neutrophils, all right? Now, guess what? I teach middle school students this, okay? Now, the third stage is monocytes. These aloe melanin plants, and these aren't all of them. One of them is elderberry. Take that elderberry syrup, okay? I mean, we're by no means exhausted them. But main thing is, we are highly melanated people, okay? Now, for those of you who wonder, the difference between melanated and not is albino, okay? If you're not albino, then you got melanin, okay? That's just straight up. That's why albinos can't see, because the melanin is missing in their eyes. okay? Or they can't see well. I don't mean they're totally blind. And you can learn more about that. My point is, because we know that melanin is a healer, then we want to activate it both by the sun and also by our diet. Right? Yes.
About 30 years ago, a group of Black scientists invented a product for Black people called Melanin 2000. It was made up from all of the dark colored fruits and vegetables.
Whoa.
Wait. And almost all of them lost their jobs and various other things, and the FDA snatched it out the market. But you should be able to Google it and look it up, Melanin 2000. And I know a number of people who worked on it.
Wonderful, my brother. Put that in the text chat if you're on your computer, so that we can look it up, because what we do here is share knowledge and information and resources. Melanin 2000. Yep. Now, I want y'all to, I mean, when we go to the melanin class, we really stretch out in that. You know, and give homage to Brother Lila Africa, who made it, who brought it to my consciousness, Richard King, by way of Asa Hilliard, and a number of people who, in fact, brought it to us. But part of what we also do, I want to just show you a little bit here, and you'll get this if you come to the melanin class. The melanin class is also free on Saturday. We're not doing the Thursday classes anymore. But just want to show you some of the power of it so that you will feed your Blackness, okay? Right, this is part of our protocol, feeding your Blackness, okay? In addition to plant-based diet, eating leafy green vegetables as much as you can. Let me share the screen with you so that you can get what we're talking about in this protocol, and that we're not just. All right, so this is a 2007 study from the basics and basic and clinical pharmacological and toxicology, okay? These authors here, all right, presented this mini review of the research on melanin. So I'm just giving it to you. This is research. All right. Biological pigment melanin is present in most of the biological systems, that is your body. It manifests a host of biological and pharmacological properties. Its role as a molecule with special properties and functions affecting general health, including photoprotective, you know that, protecting us from the sun. Most of us don't know that though, right there. You see that? Can y'all see that? Do I need to zoom in? See that word that I've highlighted? Did I lose everybody?
No.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, we're here.
All right, Vert. So immunological actions are what? Well recognized. Well, hell, ain't nobody said nothing to me, okay? Right. You know, well recognized. All right, but it is well recognized there. It's an antioxidant, it's anti-inflammatory, it's immunomodulatory. Now, let me just say a little bit about those and this particular virus called COVID-19, so that you understand how it works and why this is a part of our protocol. People who die of this do not die from the virus, okay? If your immune system is not strong and efficient, then it starts to produce waste, okay, as it's fighting, all right? And that waste and that fluid is what builds up on the alveoli. That is the outside the edges of the lungs, where you have your oxygen goes through your mouth, from your mouth, through your lungs, through the alveoli to your blood. That's how your big toe gets oxygen, okay? And the CO2 that your body has used goes out through the alveoli. When there is fluid on the lungs, then that blocks the oxygen that you can get in, and it blocks the CO2 that you can get out. That's pneumonia, y'all, okay? And that is what you die of, because if you can't get the oxygen in, you die. If it's toxic because you can't get the CO2 out, it's sepsis and other things, okay? And that's what people die of. Got it? So what's important is your immune system has to be efficient so that it's not struggling. Imagine like this. An intruder comes into your house. You challenge the intruder. It becomes a struggle. You know, you hit him or her, she hits back and whatever, and eventually you win, but there's a mess all over the place. There's blood all over the place. Things are broken and all of that. Quite different than if the intruder comes in, you've anticipated it, and as soon as they step in, you take care of business. There's no blood all over the place. Things aren't broken up. Well, in the same way, if your immune system has to struggle, it produces all of the mess. And that is what blocks the oxygen intake and the CO2 outtake. That's it. So so your immune system be struggling, and part of what happens many times is as it is struggling, it actually needs to be modulated. So back to melanin as an immunomodulator.
I have a question, Baba.
Come on.
Where did sleep fall under? Was it under stage 1 or stage 2?
Sleep stayed above all of it.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Sleep and water, okay?
Okay.
Rest and water, okay? And not cold water. If you hadn't learned that by now, please stop drinking ice cold water. It gives your body a shock. Let it cool down, let it warm up a little bit, all right? All right, but water, 8 glasses a day. Okay?
That's minimum.
Minimum, but 8 to get it going, okay? And you want the rest. That's above everything. Your system, you don't have that, then it's a struggle. You do not want your body to struggle with this virus. You want it to kick it in the butt like that, okay?
You had also said, a certain time to sleep at night to get
I did.
melatonin.
Try to be in bed by 11:30. Better be home by 11:30. Y'all remember. Okay, let me just tell you, keep on going with a little bit with melanin so you get, all right? It is also radioprotective. That means it is protective against radiation. Right? I'll give you a little bit. What is hepatic? It's protective against liver disease, gastrointestinal, okay? Hypoglycemic, for those folks who are diabetic and carrying on. All right, so now, so these benefits have only recently been studied. That's not true. They've been studied actually for a while. All right, so so now I'm gonna go to just a few places so that you begin to get. So this is the sunscreen and radioprotective effects of melanin. Most of you understand that, I've heard of that. You can learn more about it, but just write it down. That's one of the health effects. Another of the health effect categories covered in this study is, or this review, is the interaction of melanin with drugs and metals as it relates to pharmacological properties. That is how melanin interacts and actually protects your body from that, from heavy metals and that kind of thing. Let me go on to the next area. Enhancement and modulation of the immune system by melanin. All right. Let's just go to, recently it's been demonstrated that animals and fungus melanin derived from rat and Aspergillus fumigatus, respectively, and also modulate cytokine production. Cytokines are cell signaling during your immune system, all right? Extracted melanin-like pigments from black tea showed that oral administration, that is, you take it by the mouth, of melanin-like pigments to mice significantly stimulated their splenic, which means spleen, lymphoid tissue. Also demonstrated that melanin extracted from tea species induced cytokine production. Again, cytokines are part of your white blood cells, about your signaling system there. With green tea melanin being at least 100 times more active than black tea melanin. They also reported that antibodies, yes, antibodies, are secreting cells produce significantly more antibodies in animals treated with tea melanin than did antigen controls. Y'all with me on this yet? Okay. Y'all understand why a part of our protocol is you both getting in the sun to stimulate your melanin and that you're eating melanin, allomelanin rich foods, because allomelanin is plant melanin, A-L-L-O melanin. All right, let's go on a little bit more so that you understand. All right. Al Mufaraj showed that in albino rats, black seed melanin from those black cumin seeds that I showed you induced a high and long-lasting antibody response to sheet red blood cells by stimulating the immune system. Now, what that means is they injected sheep blood cells into rats. Why?
See what happens, I guess.
Say what, Baba?
Just to see what happens.
Well, yeah, what they wanted to do was to stimulate an immune response. They knew the rat's immune system was going to say, that does not belong here, okay? Just like cow's milk don't belong here, but that's another story. But our bodies, those rats would say, this does not belong here. This is foreign matter, okay? And so what they said is, all right, that albino rats, that is rats without melanin, okay, their antibody response to sheep blood cells was stimulated when they were fed this plant melanin. I want y'all to understand, what you eat matters.
Yep.
All right, we'll go just a little bit more. Immunostimulatory effects of melanin preparations from 30 traditional medical herbs were studied. Medical herbs like echinacea that we usually take, et cetera, et cetera. All right. The highest levels reported that melanins with the highest levels of activity were found in, what is this? What is Ilum sativum? Can you say garlic? Boom, that's it. What is, this is a tree, Tabebuya. This is Sereno repens. That is saw palmetto berries. I showed you those pictures there. And echinacea. Just a tad bit more. Pew and others demonstrated that ingestion of melanins by mice caused dendritic cells, blah, 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 to increase high levels of interleukin. These parts here are part of your immune system, all right? I'm gonna try to go to one other place so that I just want you to get the sense of how powerful these plant-based melanins are, okay? And so that you know that for us, this being a part of our protocol is not just cute, okay? When we say feed your blackness. All right, let's go. Yes?
How can I get a copy of this?
We have a class on where we go into detail on it on Saturday at 1:30. And for all those people there, we actually give them a copy of this right here. And you can look up Ellen Reddy, type it in the text chat. I'm not trying to hide it from you at all. You can look it up.
Okay, Ellen Reddy.
Online. Okay.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
Baba, can you answer a question about the black seed? Are you talking about black seed oil or turmeric with cumin or both? Like,
okay.
Yeah,
Good
thank
question.
you.
Good question. Black seed comes from the plant cumin. Now, there are other black seeds. I have black sesame seed in my refrigerator. I sprinkle it on stuff. All right. Now, your ancestors already told you this when they told you the blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice. Okay. All right. You just didn't know because we live in a racist society, as Brother Kakonji said. Folks know this, but we're not supposed to know this. You're not supposed, the natural advantage that you have, you're not supposed to know it. In fact, you're supposed to bleach yourself as much as you can, okay? And run away from your melanin and try to deactivate it, all right? Now, we're not just talking about protecting you from the ultraviolet rays of the sun. It does that, but what I'm hoping you get is it does much more. Melanin is also a healer, okay? And we're not going to talk about the superconductor. We ain't getting all into that right now, okay? We're not going to talk about, no. I want you to stay focused on that this is a response to this COVID-19, and we got to build our immune systems. And so if I'm letting you know that here are some powerful plants that you can buy and eat and consume, and they supercharge your immune system, I would be derelict if I kept that from you, okay? All right, so let me just tell you a little bit more. All right, so here is, let's see where, you would get how, because Okay, here's the radio protective part, just to bring it home. Okay, just to bring it home. All right, I think that's it right there. Let's see if we can find it. This will be the last one. CB and OF investigated the possibility of creating an efficient oral radioprotectant-based melanin using edible black mushrooms prior to the administration of 9-GY total body irradiation in mice. Okay, so what they're doing is, if we give by mouth these rats, not by injection, these black mushrooms, we want to look at what would happen if these mice are radiated with enough radiation to kill them. Okay. So ingestion of black mushrooms protected 80% of the mice from the lethal dose, whereas control mice, that is mice that did not get the black mushroom, okay, or given mushrooms lacking melanin, like white mushrooms, they died from gastrointestinal syndrome. Need I say more?
Wow.
Need I say more? Are you convinced that melanin can help to heal and help you heal your lungs and or in your fight? Because you want your system ready. There are people who have already been exposed to the virus. You may have, and your immune system is strong enough to go, bam, doom. That's the goal. Our response needs to be an empowering one, not a we gonna wait and see and hope, y'all. No, all right? And so, and please include, in addition to a plant-based diet, in addition to water and rest and exercise, you know, or as close as you can get to a plant-based diet with leafy greens, please include some of the plants that are high in melanin, allomelanin, okay? You can make your own black garlic. Takes about 4 weeks. Now, if you're gonna put it in your crock pot, try to keep it a consistent temperature. You know, you can go online, they'll show you how to do it. I'm actually writing a piece with all this in it for everybody, but you can find it pretty easily. But you wanna put it in your garage, okay? Unless you like the smell of garlic all in your house, because it's gonna mess it up, all right? Or smell it up. Hope you, if you like it, boom. But most people say they put it in the garage, and some folks have to take it a little further than that, okay? All right, so that's another part of our protocol, right? So you should have several things by now. You should have exercise, you have whatever. All right, you should have cut out sugar, all right? And I know it may seem difficult, but just cut it out, okay? It's been a month, I've cut out sugar. I didn't eat a lot, period. It didn't have this dipping sugar in my house, but it's in everything, and I wasn't so picky. Now I'm very picky, okay? And I've only had raw honey 3 times, okay? We used to grow stevia. We don't grow it anymore. I've ordered some more so we can grow it. Fia is a gardener. But the key is, y'all, we can do anything for 8 weeks and maybe 12 weeks and maybe for the rest of our lives, all right? Now, let me just say, this disease is really not as much about the virus as about susceptibility. This is a disease of susceptibility and vulnerability. Now, it will hit us hard as a community because we are more susceptible. And it's not just because of poor health care or lack of access to it, excuse me. It is because of overall targeting of our community with misdiagnosis and malpractice. The number of dialysis centers in our community is ridiculous, okay? I've researched and documented that both of the major dialysis companies, DaVita and this other one, I can't think of their name right now, have been sued and settled out of court for paying doctors to tell you that you gotta have dialysis. Okay? Now, some of you who got a little bit of gray hair knew that in our community, 30, 40 years ago, you didn't have so many people needing dialysis. All of a sudden, oh, we need dialysis like crazy.
Yeah.
All right. So what I'm saying is we have been targeted for mis or maldiagnosis. And the treatment for those suppresses our immune system. Okay. That is, much of the medicines that we're taking are ACE inhibitors, ACE, okay, angiotensin, I forgot, all right, they're ACE inhibitors. What happens is, in order for this virus to get into our system, it has to find a port. You may have the virus on your skin, but you don't get a problem there because your skin cells don't have the receptors to receive it, okay? And it doesn't bore its way in. When you see those little spikes on it, it's called corona because that's like a crown. And what happens is it's looking for a port. And our ACE inhibitors, medicines for high blood pressure, diabetes, stroke, and heart, all of those medicines are, they suppress, they're immunosuppressants. If you are taking them, please at least go to your doctor and tell them that you want the least amount you can take for 8 weeks. And then supplement those with other herbs and other exercise and other things, okay? That's if you still gotta have your doctor. And I'm not, do what you gotta do. I don't want anybody to be hurt, okay? I hope we also begin to learn, because if your doctors would work to set, they would tell you what you could also do naturally to reduce your high blood pressure, okay? All right, and so at least go to them and says, you've heard that the medicines may be suppressing your immune system, and because this virus is real and dangerous, you don't want your immune system suppressed. And they'll say, yeah, but what about your high blood? Say, tell me to give me the least amount I can take, and I'll keep checking with you. Okay, y'all with me on that? All right, because you don't want the very, see, this is why we're more susceptible. Okay, now also I got to put in the plug for those folks who clamoring for access for Black folks to a malpractice system. You might want to check it. Okay, we don't actually need more access to a system that actually treats pathology but doesn't treat health. Now that doesn't mean we don't need emergency rooms. It doesn't mean we don't need, I'm not, whatever, but literally, y'all, the reason the US, our death rate is high is because of a for-profit medical system that pushes drugs as opposed to health. This is an invitation to turn that around, or to begin to turn it around now and for our community, okay? And in doing so, if we're successful, we may lead the country.
Why?
But I don't, that's what they want to do is their business. All right, but we definitely need to have it so that we are building our systems and moving to health, and not a system that says, here's the pill for that. Oh, your leg is shaking? Well, here, take this. You got restless leg syndrome. Oh, you got a headache? Well, take this. Well, take this. Well, take this. The average person 60 years old is taking how many pills? Y'all guess, fire up the text chat. What's your guess? How many 12 different pills?
12.
I got 12, says Deborah. What do you say, Benita?
10.
I she's 10. What do you say?
None, so.
No, I'm talking about the average. I ain't talking about what you do. This, I love you can brag. I won't take none either. But I'm saying, what is the average based on the medical process?
5.
Prescription? 5.
5.
I got 10. I got 5. I got 12.
I'm gonna say 20.
You're gonna say 20. Okay.
9.
Was that 5?
9.
9. Okay.
Little words.
Between 12 and 15.
Wow.
Now that's the average. If that's the average, then some folks are kicking that 20 number y'all talking about. Okay. Now, y'all, I'm sorry. That is not a healthcare system. That is a pathology system. Okay. And the reason that it's important now is because that is the thing that makes us more susceptible from the medical point of view. What else makes us more susceptible is We live in toxic circumstances. If you want to talk about New Orleans, then you got to talk about Cancer Alley. You want to talk about where you find Black communities, or you find toxic waste more prevalent and chemicals more prevalent in our communities. All the more reason now. You just heard me say that them rats were protected by eating plants rich in allomelanins. But don't you think if we're living in toxic environments that we need to take special care?
Yep.
So that the things we eat allow us to defeat it. That is not the same thing as going to a doctor and saying, oh, you got asthma. It makes sense, you live in these places here. No, you know, y'all, we are the cavalry. I want you to understand that this is our mindset for this group. We call it Ngolo. Ngolo means power, it means energy. Black people, we are the cavalry. Ain't nobody coming for us, and we are enough. Okay? Now I keep saying that because we're convinced, and the whole system is to convince us that you cannot trust your body, you cannot trust your immune system, and you darn sure ain't smart enough to figure out how to heal yourself. And all of those are racist lies. Okay? All right, and the educational system that sets that in motion or that supports that also needs to be dismantled. Okay? Right now, what we're focusing on is modeling it yourself. Okay? All right, so let me just take a breath, see if there's any questions or comments so far. This is the first pillar. What I've been talking about now is the first and the second pillar. The first is we are the cavalry, we need to be healthy. The second part, and all of that is exercise and water and sleep and whatever. The second part is our allomelanins. All right, that's part 2. We got 3 more. Any question before we move to the next? All comments.
Did you say that the allomelanin is what feeds the monocytes?
Allomelanins help to stimulate monocytes. That's right, monocyte production. Also, monocytes need vitamin D and zinc. Monocytes and macrophages need the same thing. Macrophages, neutrophils, monocytes, and the fourth one is your white blood cell development and your bone marrow is increased. So if stage 1 and 2 and 3 are struggling, your bone marrow says, oh, wow, that's a struggle out there. I got to send in some reinforcements. Now that takes a day or 2 to develop, and that needs vitamin A and vitamin B6 for that. In fact, if you want to remember it, here's a jingle. You're used to it, except for a little bit of twist. A, B, C, D, E, F, Z. There is no vitamin F. F is for flavonoid. Okay? Z is for zinc. I'll say it again. A, B, C, D, E, F, Z. Where A, B, C, D is all just that. B6. Okay? And where flavonoids are the F. Okay? And zinc. All right? Now, brother Hodari has some powerful stuff around zinc. All right? And if y'all are on Facebook, you can become a Facebook friend. In fact, join the Facebook group where we continue to put this kind of data. Okay? And the Facebook group is called Ngolo Movement. All right.
I have a question, brother, before you move on.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry, because I joined late. Do the sound, remember you were talking about when you exercise, you're like going at war and we needed to make a sound and you were doing, ha, ha, make that sound again. Was it, ha, ha? You know, that's because that's simple. Do it again.
No, I got you. What I was saying is you need to exercise yourself so that you are breathing deeply and expanding your bronchial tubes and your lung capacity. All right. I was doing like that. That's not the war call. Okay. All right.
No, I understand that. I understand that's not the war call. But
right. All I'm saying is as we think of exercising, you've been told, and everybody decide for yourself what will get you there, and then get there, and then try to increase it a little bit, because that's how you increase your capacity, and increase it a little bit more, and keep going, so that if you are doing whatever you're doing, let's say all you can do is 5 push-ups on your knees, and that has you good. Okay. If for you it takes 100 to get you there. Why? Because this is an illness that attacks your lungs. When you have your immune response, your bronchial tubes are going to constrict. You want them this wide, so when they constrict some, they're not like a coffee straw. Okay. We sit all day. Okay. And so it's time to. Now, also, we've had people on, and we have them on Saturday. We don't have them coming this Saturday, teaching yoga and also breathing. We'll have some more. All right. So you'll see one of the classes on deep breathing. Okay. And I want you to know how to do deep diaphragmatic breathing. Okay. And you can. There are all kinds of breathing exercises that'll help build your lung capacity. All right. So that's
so one last thing. Okay. So yoga. Okay. So I'm trying to understand how, like, the vagus nerve and stimulating and movement and dance, not necessarily just being still. I'm an educator, right? Early childhood educator.
Wonderful.
And one of the things that really is problematic in our Western training is that we want the children to be still and learn.
Absolutely.
And to move and learn. And so yoga and that's more like the be still stuff. So can you speak a little bit to that?
Well, yeah, that is, I want you to move. The yoga part is stretching, and the yoga part is some people do the breathing. I like exercising. I like dance. I like bicycling. I like whatever, because I also want you to build your other muscles so that you are strong. I want I want us to begin to feel our strength. Okay. All right. And so, you know, but it's not, it's complementary. Stretching is important, is really good. And some of yoga stretching is really important. Now, also, I want you, we're African people. We're movement people, okay? So we need to move, all right? So that's the answer to that question. Absolutely, you know it. Everybody here knows it, okay?
Okay,
I don't care how young or old you are, okay? Do what you can do and then stretch it. Now, let me just so that you get from me, so you don't think that I'm just somebody who just read a little bit, okay? My father, I moved from Alabama to North Carolina because my mother called me. Bafia and I had a tax business in M&M Fast Tax and Financial Services. It was in our 3rd year. We'd been in the top 10 of all tax preparation companies in our 1st year. All right. And so we were ready to settle in, because y'all know it takes about 3 years, you know, to get a business really cooking. She calls me and said, your dad's sick and I want you to come home. And those are all things she said, but the tone told me she wasn't talking about coming home to visit. Just her tone told me that she was asking me to move, and I did. He had diabetes, one foot on in the grave and the other on a banana peel. It took us a year. His blood sugar level was the same as his doctor's. Then he was just excited and doing all kinds. I said, Dad, hold on, we got to keep working it. We got to keep working it. But he hadn't felt so good in years. Turns out I was out of town. She calls me. He called her, because they don't live together. They didn't live together anymore. They still loved each other, but they separated. And so she called me because he called her, crumpled up on the floor. When I get home from Boston or someplace, finds he's in the hospital, and the doctor says, he has 7 active tumors. We have ignored those. We didn't know. We were checking him for checking him for diabetes, but nobody checked him for prostate cancer. He'd had prostate cancer, and he had 7 active tumors, and he was on push-button morphine. Y'all know what I'm talking about, being in the hospital on push-button morphine?
Yes.
You're talking about the pain is excruciating. You can just push it so you can stay high as a Georgia pine. So I said, well, what's the next? They said, we won't even radiate him. If we radiate 7 active tumors, we will kill him. So we will only radiate him in the last days for pain control. And they sent him from the hospital to the hospice center. And he was to be dead in 2 or 3 weeks. And I decided after the first week, I told the folks, let me take him home. I want to be with him. This may be the last time, blah, blah, blah. I got him in the car and said, oh, hell no. If you die, you're going to die on me. I didn't move all the way up here from Alabama to have you, have these folks just have you die. And we went home. And he had to make a choice, though. He sat down. I had all of his bag of medicines, about 8. I put them on one side of the coffee table. On the other side of the coffee table was a diet plan, an exercise plan, and some herbal teas. And I said, Dad, on the left side is all the medicine they sent home with you to make you comfortable as you die. On the right side is your only shot at living. I said, I'll respect whatever choice you make. I'm your son and I love you. I've never been so far down the hill, so I can't even pretend to judge you. If you say, you know what, son, I'm too far down the hill and I want to go. I said, I'll support you as you die. And if you decide you want to go and fight to come up the hill, I'll support you there too. But you got to make a choice. And I fell silent. And he said, I want to live. I said, I hear that. What's your choice? That I'll take that over there. And he pointed to the exercise routine, the diet plan, and the herbal remedies. And I took a plastic bag and dumped his medicines there and threw them in the trash can. In 3 months, he wasn't taking an aspirin. Within 2 years, his doctors could not find 1 iota of cancer. I'm not trying to sell you anything, so I'm not giving you something, a pep talk, so you can go and buy my potion. I don't have one. Okay? I just want you to believe in your body and your body's ability to heal, because if you do not believe it, you're gonna die. This is what they're asking us to do. They're asking us to not believe in our bodies. So if you go and they say, oh, you have COVID-19, well, you got enough fear running around in your body and disbelief for you to surrender to it.
Thank you, Baba.
So I'm saying, please, y'all, okay? If it wins, hell, give it a fight.
Yeah.
But to give it a fight, you got to believe in it. I don't care what your age is.
Yeah.
Okay? I don't care what your condition is. This whole Western medical system is designed to have you surrender and abandon your body and your authority and your power. Please take it back. Okay?
Thank you.
All right. Now, and then act on it. Act like you believe it. Okay. So when you're exercising, you're saying, I'm getting strong. Come on, Corona. I got something for you. Okay. Oh, you see, you gotta be like that. You can't just be passive. You can't just be, we're gonna no, when I say we're at war, we mean this, some of you I know people now who have died. So I don't play with it. Now, I don't mean that I don't believe we can win. I do, and I know people have. We've had folks on last Monday who were in the hospital and is no longer, okay? Kemet Mawakana. Monica, you may have not been on Saturday. You know Kemet, right?
Yeah.
Kemet's sister was in the hospital with corona.
I heard that.
You heard that?
I heard that.
All right. Now, that being said, there's something I have to also tell you. They are recommending hydroxychloroquine. Hydroxychloroquine and chloroquine are medicines approved for malaria. Cool, they work for malaria. And at the same time, they are not what Africans take for malaria in the main. I mean, I don't mean that you don't have some, but hydrochloroquine creates a problem for highly melanated.
Here we go, fellas.
The problem is this. Melanin, to heal you, binds to metals and drugs that are not good for you. Now, when I first learned about melanin binding to metals and drugs, I was a little perplexed because I was saying melanin is a good thing. But what is this melanin binding? Well, whenever you have toxins in your body, heavy metal toxins or drug toxins, whether we talk about heroin or anything else, melanin does what you would do if your grandchild, you looked around, a car was coming, they're in the street, right? And you can't get them out. You know hollering ain't gonna do it. You run and you grab them, even if you got to roll over. so that they don't get hit. Melanin grabs the metals, melanin grabs the drugs, and it tries to then disseminate it in non-toxic doses. Y'all hear me? Okay? I want you to understand this blessing that the Creator had given you. Now, if we have it overworked, then it can't do its job because you're overworking it with drugs and toxins and heavy metals. Many of the drugs that your drug company uses for this are toxic. Hydroxychloroquine, and chloroquine, within one dose, the melanin in your eye has absorbed hydroxychloroquine, excuse me, trying to protect you from it. Now, if you're about to die of malaria, please take it. I don't want you to die. At the same time, if you built your system so that you don't have to take this, you tell the doctor no. So Kemet's sister was in this hospital with a fever. They put her on the ward. They then said, your fever is down. They said, you're doing better than other people on the ward. She said, good. They said, your fever's down, but we got to watch you for 4 or 5 days. She said, okay. They then came to her and say, will you take hydroxychloroquine? She said, I thought you said I was doing better than anybody on the ward. She said, no, I'm not going to take hydroxychloroquine. They said, then we'll release you now. I want you to understand now. I want you to understand what game is being played. And I don't mean the disease is not serious, but we also have a malpracticing medical system, okay? And so this person refused to take it. And so they let her go home, and on the way out, they said, well, will you take iodine and put it up your nose so that you don't give it to someone else? And she said, no, I'm not going to take iodine either. Okay. Her dad, their father, was suing the federal government for many years of his life. Black folks, we got to return to some healthy skepticism. Now, I'm not talking about that we can't function. I'm not talking about everything that anybody ever says you got to believe, okay? But healthy skepticism is critical to our survival because we're in a for-profit system. That's bad enough for everybody. And secondarily, we're in a racist for-profit system, okay? So what we're saying is, let's learn and then apply what we learn. Even though we don't know a whole bunch more, we'll keep learning that. But decide that you can learn about your body and you can learn of what your body needs and you can give it to it, okay? Your body can come up with many of those cures, okay? That over 500,000 people have, and over 1.2 million are using to keep their symptoms to be mild. Y'all, mild means you ain't hospitalized. Mild means you hardly even know it. They've been tested. All right. One more thing, there's just news, because part of what we want to do is keep you abreast of what's news. There is a controversy going on between when you use ventilators and when not. There also is misinformation. They've talked about ventilators so much, Brother Sunjata, that they have our people believing that if they go to the hospital, that the ventilator will be their savior. 50 to 70% of those who go on ventilators die. Wow. You want me to repeat that statistic? Okay. 50 to 70%. So what's the controversy that we're talking about? The controversy is this. The test to determine whether you should go on a ventilator is one that tests your oxygen saturation. if the oxygen saturation is below, let's say 80%, then the protocol says to the doctor, put the person on ventilator. So what's the problem? The problem is you have some people who are sitting in the doctor's office talking to them, and they test their their oxygen saturation level, and it's 45%. But they're talking to the doctor.
Mm-hmm.
And doctors are saying, I'm not going, some doctors, to put this person, I know the protocol says if it's less than 80, but that's not making sense to me in this case. They're asking, this is not following the typical ARDS protocol. Who here knows what ARDS is? Acute respiratory distress syndrome. So given that, they have a protocol, they have a recipe. The recipe says, so I'm going to let you, I'm going to play this only 4 minutes so that you can get that I'm not making this up. All of this is to say, we are the cavalry.
Saturation of like 45 or 50%. And I'm telling myself, this is impossible. This is not.
Okay, do you see this picture here of this white guy with a cap? Just want to make sure I'm sharing the right thing. That what you see?
Yes.
All right, good. So I'm going to play this. It's only about 4 minutes and 20 seconds. This is a physician. Over in the right-hand corner, you'll see this little New York Times signature. I copied this so this is in the New York Times. You'll be able to find it.
Saturation of like 45 or 50%. And I'm telling myself, this is impossible. This is not possible. How can this be? It's just not compatible with life to have an oxygen saturation that low. You know, this is strange. Like it's out of a horror movie. I've been unable to sleep because I'm trying to wrap my head around this. This goes against anything I've ever believed. The paradigm of ARDS is not matching with the patients that I'm seeing. So it's like trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. At the core of the core of the core, it is just what disease are we treating, you know? And are we treating something that is naturally ARDS or are we not?
We protect. Okay, so they're asking, ARDS is acute respiratory distress syndrome. They have a protocol. When your person presenting this, an oxygen saturation level of 80, 83, okay, then here is the protocol, because that means they're in distress and they need a ventilator or what's called intubation, all right? And what they're saying is, wait a minute, there are folks here who got 45%, but they're not presenting the same kind of symptoms. It doesn't look to me like they're about to die, so I don't want to use the other protocol, which means you have intubation. What is intubation? Y'all, ventilators are not just masks with oxygen. Ventilators are a tube designed to bypass the fluid so that you have to breathe for you, and you have to be sedated. Let me continue so that you get to hear the controversy, because this is one side. Then you will hear a person saying, "Oh no, you know, we need to do what we were said we were going to do, or what somebody said we ought to do." Let's let you hear the rest of it.
The lung against what we do to the lung. Protected from what? From what we do in mechanical ventilation. And now the mechanical ventilation.
Now, first, just look at the numbers. 20 to 30% of the patients have heavy lungs, stiff lungs that fit the ARDS profile. These are the people who are already supposed to be are tagged COVID-19 patients. Over 50% have lungs that don't fit this, that aren't responding in the same way as they say the virus is supposed to make our bodies respond. All right, so let's continue.
The type L cannot be treated as a classical RDS. It's not a classical RDS. You cannot do the same protocol for everybody. If they come and you don't have an idea if the patient is type L or type H, you probably do some disaster in 50% of the population.
Now, what does it mean, disaster?
Kill.
Die. Yep.
So why would they die if they say everybody is like type L, or the one where you had the very stiff lungs and all of that, the typical ARDS? Why, if they didn't have that? And
because they're not treating the right they're not treating the right disease.
What's the problem with intubation and just giving them the ventilator anyway? It just means they come off early, wouldn't it?
The muscles become weaker, and so they don't survive because they're not exercising their own respiratory muscles.
You're absolutely right, but even worse than that, y'all. You remember what I said earlier? 50 to 70% of the folks who are on ventilators die. Okay?
Right.
There also is problems with the intubation. All right. All right. And it's important that we need to start using that, because our folks think that sometimes you just getting oxygen when in fact don't know that this procedure is a very dangerous one. Now, of course, it makes sense if that's the only thing to keep you living. But anyway, what this Italian doctor says is, wait a minute, you're going to do some disaster to 50% of the population or more,
right,
if you treat it that way. All right.
I had a question, Bob, if you don't mind.
Don't mind.
How effective, as far as can yoga be in serving as an alternative to ventilators? In terms of expanding lung capacity and just getting, the organs working, especially the lungs.
Well, you may be just joining us. What we say is both vigorous exercise as well as stretching and breathing exercises, okay, to expand your lung capacity, to make them strong, to make them compliant, as opposed to weak because we're sitting all day and sitting on our butts and not exercising and blah, 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 okay? And that's us. Just because, so breathing exercise will be great, yoga will be great, but also you need to exercise to stress them, okay? So that you're stronger. All of that will help.
I only ask because my mother-in-law was dealing with a similar situation. I'm not going to put her business out there, but I do want to invite my significant other to a future session. She's a yoga practitioner.
Yes.
And she works with youth. So
well, we've had yogas on Saturday. We have classes on Saturday to help do what we're talking about. So we have melanin classes where we go deeper in that. We have people who deal with gardening and how to garden, because we have Ngolo garden movement, and we've had yoga. We've had other ways to reduce the toxic load. This Saturday we'll have someone to deal with energy and using energy work to help with that. So good enough. Let's keep on listening to this particular controversy here.
So what he is saying is that you just have to be like gentle. People will need a ventilator, and those that do need as high oxygen as possible, as little pressure as possible, in order to buy time until this demon virus stops.
Okay, and I want to stop right there, because there's another misunderstanding about ventilators that you need to know. Ventilators do not cure you of anything. All right, ventilators are not a treatment, if you really want to know the truth. Ventilators allow the oxygen that is not getting through your fluid buildup to get through to your bloodstream, and it allows your CO2 that is not getting through the fluid to come out. Your body still has to do the healing. Your body still has to fight and win against the virus. Do y'all understand? Okay? The ventilators nor any other medicine that they're giving does it for you. Your body has to kick the virus's butt. Better for you to be prepared and determined that it does it before than trying to do it when a machine is breathing for you. All right, now you're going to go in and have the other side of the argument pretty soon, where the other person is arguing that no matter, you must do whatever the protocol was regardless.
These patients have ARDS. I think the editorial has both been misinterpreted, and I think people have misunderstood that it's just that. It's an editorial, it's not a study, and it's not a trial. I don't doubt that people have seen some cases with some terrifyingly low oxygen numbers. On average, they're as sick as prior cohorts with ARDS.
I just think it's important to say that it's not a settled question. Every hospital in the world is probably solving this problem slightly differently.
We're using an early intubation strategy here, and of our first 66 patients, already a third of them have been extubated. I'm arguing for evidence-based medicine, which is something that we all purported to agree with before this outbreak hit. We have large randomized controlled trials. The patients in those trials had met the same diagnostic criteria that our current patients meet. We should apply the results of the trials.
Today, we do not rush to intubate. Intubation has become the last resort, and the protocol, once they're intubated, has changed drastically.
So within the last 2 weeks, I think what has been unacceptable has become very acceptable. Some of these patients don't need to be intubated. You watch them carefully, you make sure their oxygenation is adequate, and they can recover.
I'm not saying we don't need ventilators, but perhaps we need to think about how we're using them. Somebody, and preferably people that are not taking care of patients every day, needs to look at the disease and figure out how we can treat it better.
Somebody, preferably not people who are doing the treating. Well, who? Who should that somebody be? It should be you and your body. Your body can determine how much, which phase of its immune system response is needed. Okay? Because what I'm letting you hear, we're almost done. They got about 30 seconds more. Okay? That folks are saying this is not fitting the protocol. Others are saying, I don't care. This is what we saw. They got ARDS. We don't follow the protocol. Others are saying, I'm not going to do that. I'm only going to do that as a last resort because it's not matching. Okay, the guy in Italy where they've had all of that, all those cases, is wait, you're gonna do damage to folks. Okay, so what I'm saying to you is, there is no greater authority than your own body, y'all. Okay, please don't buy. And I don't mean that these folks aren't trying as hard as they can, but your body has an intelligence. If you will feed it right, and if you will treat it right, and if you will believe in it. Okay, if not, then you can believe in them. Let's go and let's hear the last part of this.
The truth will come out eventually. In the meantime, the question is what do we do till that happens? And yes, I'm nervous. I'm scared every day when I go into work, but I'm just trying to do the best I can.
All right. And I believe that he's just trying to do the best he can. And a lot of folks are doing the best they can. They also are in a sick system. It's like many schools. We're going to have evidence-based blah, blah, blah. We're going to have standardized testing for everybody. The teacher just becomes a machine, not somebody who judges that I need to just, be gentle with this child right now because I understand what's going on at home, and we'll catch up on the lesson on the back end. Y'all understand? All right?
Yeah, we do.
Any comments about what you just saw? Or questions?
Why the ventilators? Always, not always, but why they are sedating people when they're on ventilators?
Ooh.
I can take that.
Okay, take that, Kimberly.
Let me put my screen up, sorry. That's what I do for a living. And basically, the ventilator, just like he said, provides support. So they're putting the people on the ventilators so that they don't have to worry, because you can put them on the ventilator and then walk away from the patient who can't breathe. You have to sedate them because it's going down your trachea, and that promotes your gag reflex. So you'd be trying to either gag, vomit, or spit out, pull out the tube yourself if you're not sedated.
Absolutely.
And I'll also mention that one of the things you said about them, the difficulty of intubation. A lot of the Black people that they show on the news, I look at that person and I say, that looks like a difficult intubation.
Right.
And I have to wonder if these are people that could not be intubated because of the lack of experience of the people on the front lines, because anesthesiologists aren't necessarily sitting in the ER waiting to intubate people. And they're losing their lives because of that.
Of the intubation. Of the errors with the intubation. So you got two things. Thank you, Kimberly. You got two things this brings up. First, a maljudgment of when to ventilate, because the protocol, the disease is not presenting itself in the way that they were trained. And so they're deciding to ventilate some people before they need it. Okay? Before they need it, because they're using an indice that of 83% oxygen saturation that is not matching for other people. That doesn't tell the story. Y'all understand what we're saying? There's somebody who's sitting there and they have a blood sugar level, a oxygen saturation level of 45, and it's not, they are not dying. Okay, you gotta, and what they found is, and that's what he said. That is, you can literally provide oxygen in other ways, okay? And the last resort, but you got to be clear about when you're doing that, and is it really necessary, not based on just the measure of oxygen saturation, when that measure is not proving sufficient, okay, or reliable. That's all we're saying. Now, what's more reliable than any of that? Your own immune system. More reliable. It can say when to ease up, when to kick harder, when whatever. If you both believe in it and you build it and you reduce your dependency on immunosuppressive drugs or eliminate it. All right. So the Brother Keating has dropped in something, as he always does. National emergency legislation, hospital extended stipends for COVID-19 diagnosis, $13,000, 39,000 for ventilated patients. Thus, there's a great financial incentive for diagnosis. Right on the money. Where what did I say? In a for-profit system, and y'all, way beyond this crisis, please, if you have a chance to advocate for a non-profit-based medical system, please advocate for it and teach your children to advocate for it, okay? Whenever there is a financial incentive for me to be sick, then I'm going to be sick. When you lay on top of that racism and classism and other kinds of oppression, then you're going to have it, and you'll have it going disproportionately. All right, it's just important that a profit-based medical system will always serve you up. It's not necessary. In fact, it's criminal to do it. And all right, I've said enough about that.
I want to answer
yes.
People ventilators more likely to develop pneumonia.
Say that again.
It was a question if mechanical ventilators cause an increase in pneumonia. And basically the answer to that is, if you have one nurse taking care of 10 people on the ventilators and one respiratory therapist, then they are not going to be able to help clear secretions out of people adequately to prevent them from getting a secondary pneumonia, assuming that COVID virus gives you a atypical pneumonia. So then you get a bacterial one on top of that. So that can happen. Mechanical ventilators do not prevent it. And obviously with the new paradigm of this virus, you don't really know how the ventilator can help respond to that situation.
Very good. Now, Kitty, put your other information in where they can get you. both your show and website. It's important, y'all. There are African scientists who've been studying this for years, okay? And it's important that we lean on them and we learn from them and trust yourself that you can separate wheat from chaff. You can take some and throw and give away some, you can whatever, but really begin to rely on people who've been studying it and who don't have a for-profit incentive and who is for our people. Please do not believe just because other people around the country and around the world are dying from this, China, Italy, and whatever, that white supremacist agenda and racism has gone on vacation. It has not. And so our vigilance cannot go on vacation, all right? And there are many, just a second, all right? Mainly, I'm for education. That's one of the pillars. One of the pillars for us is for us to become educated about the things that we're talking about. And not just about the virus, all right? But about the other complications. Out of this, all of us need to know what the difference between the flu is and a virus, what the difference between a virus and a bacteria. All of you need to know, nobody should question what is pneumonia. You should be able to explain it to a 5-year-old, okay? If you do not, then please begin to do this work so that you can explain to a 5-year-old. So you can explain how this COVID-19 system works and what really kills people if we're not talking about malpractice and stuff like that. All right. Yes, Deborah.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that my daughter was a pre-med psychology major at Spelman back in the day. And so most of her friends became physicians. She decided to do a master's in public health. And one of the things that they say to her frequently is that the hospital is the worst place you want to go when you're sick. And did you hear me?
I heard you loud and clear.
Okay, because I go out in and out sometimes. Hospital is the worst place you want to go when you're sick. And a friend of mine who was one of my best friends in undergrad for a number of years, she left the field of medicine because they insisted that she give, medications to patients, and she just didn't want. She knew that there were other ways for people to heal, right. And yet the industry she was in, sided with over medicating people. Right. So thank you. Yeah, I just wanted to add that.
And now
so we don't want to get sick and end up in the hospital during this period of time, in particular, because those staph infections are real.
We got to also see, it is not enough. It is critical, and I'm not talking to you, Deborah, I'm talking to everybody and folks, to be critical of a system if you're not replacing it with something. Okay. We're not one of those folks that you can just get off because you can say how bad the hospital is, but then whenever this COVID-19, you don't have anything in its place. You don't have a strategy for your family. You don't have a strategy for you. They've convinced you that you can't win, and so you're totally dependent. So in that case, being critical doesn't make you powerful. Being critical is important, but that's kindergarten. The next step is, what do you put in its place, y'all? Okay? This is not, I can't stand folks who I can't stand, that's too big, I'm sorry, let me slow down. I'm sad about folks who replace criticism of the system for power. The power to heal, the power to know what to do, all right? The power to have alternatives, the power to believe in yourself and your people and those who studied this. Okay? That's what it takes. Now to do that, we're talking about, for us, many of us, a re-educational system. And I ain't talking about you fussing with white folks about their system either. Okay? Every time you open your mouth, your educational system is working. Okay? What is it that you talk about? Some of you know Zora Neale Hurston. She had a saying, and Aya has a formula. Here's the formula based on what she said. Write it down. It's called T plus E equals P. T plus E equals P. P means power. What's T? Time.
Oh, time.
Time. What's E? Energy. Whatever and whoever you're giving your time and energy to is who you're giving your power to. Now, that Zora Neale Hurston put it in a more literary fashion. well, literally as the way black people would say it orally, she said, girl, who's in your mouth? Or you ought to get that boy out your mouth. M-O-U-F, y'all. Because what she knew is, and what our ancestors knew is, whoever or whatever is in your mouth is who's getting your power, your time, and your energy. So while it's important to be critical, the only reason that I want you to see this is so that you come to the reality that you are in charge. That folks have no idea what they're doing. They're doing the best they can on front lines, and there are people who have more experience than others. I'm not saying that, but literally, the intelligence of your body, if you will support it, surpasses anything that they can do. Okay? It's mechanical. It's guessing. And it doesn't matter whether you're talking about diabetes or cancer. Your blood sugar, your body can regulate your blood sugar level much better than any kind of pricking your finger, insulin, taking boom. So what I'm saying is we have to develop a belief that we can win. So let me just say, wrap up a couple of things. AYA offers free classes on Saturday. We're going to do this through June. We were supposed to be done, but the response has been great, and this is critical. And so we're going to have those classes, in June. If you registered for them, you probably saw some of the classes, because one part of our immune system, and this is another part of our pillar, AECC, that we need to counter the ills of social distancing, because we are touching people, okay? To counter those ills, which are isolation and anxiety, which suppress your immune system, since we're physically separate, we must be authentic. We must expand our authentic, emotional, and cultural connection. And we have classes that help us do that. So once you call somebody on the phone and say, how you doing? And they say, I'm fine. Please don't start talking about the news and what pricks got the COVID virus and don't, okay? And what last thing they said. Part of what a class is on storytelling for healing, family healing. So you really begin to get some options and for how do you begin at that conversation to have the family get closer together. Okay, all right, so that's important. Another is this is a highly emotional time. We're scared. We're not only scared about the virus, we're scared about the aftermath, and we ought to be. We're scared about, whether we're gonna have a job. Yes, Tanisha.
You saw my hand. Baba, I wanted to know, can I take more than one class on Saturday?
Well, no, you can't. You have to come back another Saturday because they're 45 minutes. Here's what we've closed down our Thursday classes because it was just too much, but we've expanded the classes on Saturday from 45 minutes to an hour. And so you're in that class for 45 minutes, okay?
Okay.
And then
she's in the class for an hour.
You're in the class for an hour, okay?
Okay.
And then we're back, okay?
Okay.
And then next Saturday you can do the same thing. Now, we also
I can take a different one the following Saturday.
A different one the following Saturday.
I can take it every Saturday. It's
every
like I can't
Saturday.
take anymore.
Now, and you can do better than that. All right. What we're also, the ones for hour are important and they're real classes and they're the tip of the iceberg. We've been doing this work for over 20 years, okay? And we have classes, skills, protocols. For those people who join AYA Educational Institute, starting tomorrow, and you're going to get this in the mail, we've announced it on Saturday, we will have membership only deepening classes, okay? And then, so we encourage you to become a member. It's $50 a month, and there are a whole bunch of things that lays out what you get in various classes and all of that, and discounts on others that are not free. Then if that's not working for you, $30 a month. And similarly, just a lesser amount, and then $20 a month. That helps us do what we're doing, all right, and what we've been doing for 20 years, so that you really begin to get a series. I'll give you one example. In addition, when I talked about those family stories, there's a course that's a 3-month course. It's 2 Saturdays a month. You come out with 13 family stories, and it's called Healing Alienation and Broken Stories. We're not a broken people. We just have broken stories. And we can heal those stories. And now is a really great time to do it since families together and that kind of thing. All right. So there are more than that rotation. Okay. All right. All right. So Afia has put in the text chat for those of you who want to support Higher Education Institute, because that's what you'd be doing by becoming a member. Then please do. And there is a membership form there. Okay. And if you do it tonight, you'll also be invited to the free class for members tomorrow. And on Saturday, there's going to be, while others are in class, there's going to be a membership.
Okay, so not tomorrow. They'll be getting communication, not tomorrow.
All right. Afia is my partner. Okay. And my partner has spoken. Okay. and I love it. So, you know, there's certain ways there's some wiggle room, and then there's another way where there's a tone, and you just kind of know what that means. There's some other stuff behind that that ain't to be talked about right now. So there will not be tomorrow. You'll get a communication. What we yeah. Let's begin with any questions you have, because we're going to begin to close it down for this evening. And
there's a question.
Oh, I love it. I'm so glad you asked this question, because they're playing with it, y'all. They are playing with this. Okay. The question is, if you get the virus once and recover, are you immune? All right. Okay. So in sunny California, folks out of Stanford University are they began last week to begin to roll the narrative. And of course, you know, some of us watched how they rolled the narrative out. And they began to say, well, the numbers that we were projecting dying aren't matching what the reality is. So they began to say, well, maybe those in California were exposed to it earlier than they thought, and we've begun to develop herd immunity. That is, people have begun to develop their own immunity, like what we've been talking about. And so from that, then Fauci starts saying, well, maybe so, and maybe we need to have tests to test your immunity. Now, do know, you know, the tests are bogus. And again, if you want to know the whole real deal on all the tests and the bogus and whatever, my brother Keita can give you the lowdown on that, all right? And please, you know, attend. The point is, the narrative now is, if you are immune once, does that immunity keep you protected forever, or can you get it again? Because there are people in China who were positive, and now they got it again. Well, guess what, folks? The false positive rate in some cases is 75%. Wow. So some of the people who were said to have it, but then later on, then not have it, and then later on had it again, may never have actually had it the first time. All right. So they're seeding seeds of doubt in your immune system, because Fauci says the real answer, because if you do what we're doing, if you build your immune system and your immune system defeats the virus, but your immunity may not last, and what you really need is the vaccine. You see, Fauci works for the pharmaceuticals, okay? Trump works for the pharmaceuticals. CDC works for the pharmaceuticals. I wish it was different, but it ain't, not from any of my studies, okay? And so they're seeding doubt. So the answer to your question is, if your immune system kicked it one time, it already has a pattern, and even if it mutates, it's more likely to kick it again, okay? You see, what's diabolical is the underlying way they ask us or invite us not to believe in our bodies and in our systems, so that we become dependent upon them. All right? So the answer to your question, if my immune system kicks it, and I do expect it to do, then I expect it to keep kicking it for the rest of my days. That's what your immune system does. Incidentally, since you begin to have so much flu vaccines over the last 40 years, the incidence of flu has not gone down, it's gone up. It's important that we build our own systems and support them. And medicine can support them, but not a for-profit racist system will never do it. Okay. So now appreciations, anything you appreciate that you from tonight, whether it's camaraderie or whether it's a point, all right, please say it, because that's how we like to end and get a sense of sincere appreciation for the time we spent together. So anything that you've taken away from it, please say that.
I have a question though. It's regarding earlier today, this evening, one of the brothers was talking about, started to say something about yoga, but I don't think he ever got to finish his point. And I wanted to hear it, if it's possible.
Well, the point is, the question was, that I affirmed is, will yoga help? Yoga will help. Breathing will help. Dancing will help. Bicycling will help. Okay? But yes, yoga will help. Stretching will help your body. Okay? And breathing deeply and expanding your lung capacity. Okay? And there are a number of different breathing techniques for building your body, even reducing your stomach size and all of that, that are really powerful. Okay? I mean, there are many different exercises. And
Baba Wakesa,
yes.
I think what he was saying is, did the brother have something else to add?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, brother, do you have something else to add?
Did he leave?
I don't know. Well, maybe he'll come back. Okay.
All right.
Thank you. All right. All right. Any other appreciations or questions?
I have an appreciation. I'm taking with me the statements. There is no greater authority than your own body. Feed your blackness. Your body has an intelligence. If you feed it right, treat it right, and believe in it. Thank you for that.
Mo.
Can you put that in the text chat, please?
Wonderful. Put it in
Will do.
the text chat,
Thank
Charlene.
you.
All right. Other appreciations. Come on, y'all.
Well, I appreciate the conversation. I appreciate the information, and that's all I can say. Asante Sana.
Go.
I appreciate the knowledge that you shared. I especially appreciate the point about us not being reinfected, because they're just scaring people even more with that. So you get over COVID-19 and they tell you, oh, by the way, you could get it again. I mean, it's just straight scare tactics, scaring everyone. And we need to have faith in our immune systems, like you said. We need to believe that our immune systems will take care of us. So I appreciate that.
No.
Edie here.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
I just want to say I appreciate AYA Institute for preparing the leaders of the Institute as they are preparing the students of the Institute to be the prime, preeminent leadership that will move Africa, global Africa, forward beyond the 21st century so we can catch up to the 7th millennium, which should be our proper time orientation. Enough respect to my sister Afia, enough respect to my brother Wakesa, and I know that brother Wakesa, that cat Wakesa, is a bad mother. Shut your mouth.
Yes, I share. What I wanted to say is, I'm sorry.
No, I was just responding. It takes one to know one, bro. Come on, Eve.
I wanted to say that this is my third forum, and I am amazed that each time that there's always more information coming through. I learn something each time that I'm here, even though it seems like it's going to be repetitive, but it's not. So there's always something to be learned. And so, yeah, joining and going, getting a membership and going in deeper is definitely the way to go.
Brother Wakesa.
Yes.
So again, I spoke earlier. I'm an educator, so a college professor, and so this information, and I'm Western trained, but I always bring African. So I need to properly excuse the Western stuff, but I need to properly cite you because you have said so much, and I'm going to do that. Okay. And so, how do you want me to refer to you? You want Baba, Nana? What do you want? So that I'm honoring your knowledge, okay?
Thank you very much. Nganga.
Okay.
Nga.
Okay, we'll do. And then in your full name with that.
Wekesa Olatunji Mazimoyo, Olatunji. I'm the founder and co-founder and co-director of AYA Educational Institute.
Okay, I'll go to the website and I want to shout out to Mama Vera Nobles. She is the one that turned me on. Mama always taking care of her daughter. I love, yeah. Because I'm like, oh my, so thank you. Yes.
West Coast, taking care of business.
I have a comment, quick.
Yes.
This is Roz. I would like to say that it's informative, it's comprehensive, it's an eye opener. I love it. I mean, you couldn't do any better than this. Quick question. I want to subscribe, but I don't want to use PayPal. Is there another alternative way of doing that?
Sure. Afia, you got Roz. Roz, would you put your information in to make sure I know it's the same Roz that I'm thinking? And Afia will get with you. So yes, you can do it a different way.
Thank you, Bubba.
All right.
So Roz, I'm sorry, I don't know how to find you.
Put your email.
Just put the email and phone number.
And phone number, okay.
Thank you.
All righty, keep it rolling, y'all. Thank you, Roz. Yes.
Baba Wekesa, I just want to say I'm so appreciative for this class that you taught. I feel so inspired. This is probably the best class I've ever had, and I love to study. So inspiring. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. So welcome. Come on, y'all. This is the best part.
I want to appreciate Baba Earl. I believe he's in here. On Saturday, he gave a suggestion for how to do the 180 that a number of us were excited about. And actually, I've had some little bit of back difficulty lately, just I think overworking in the garden. And I'd kind of backed off. And also, I can only do about really 5 push-ups to my satisfaction in real form. So starting at 5 today felt really, really good. And I really loved his protocol because it was like, do that many more every day. So I'll soon be up to 25. And it just felt real good to say, okay, I can do all the others 25 or more. The push-ups are kicking my butt. And I'm going to go for the ones that I can do and feel I will start where I am and then continue. So if you're still on, Baba Earl, thank you for that. And also somebody said you need some support with the exercising. Part of what I'm going to start doing in the Ngolo group is just showing what I'm doing. I think all of us just showing what we're doing can be a good support to each other. Ayana's not on right now, but when I saw her walking today, I got my butt up and started walking, so. Right. So we can keep just feeding each other in that way, challenging and nurturing and supporting each other in that way.
Mo.
Come on,
thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I don't know if I can add to that. For most people do no exercise at all, and that's only because of habit and time. So what I could suggest is that do something that you like to do and do a little of it and then just keep increasing. So it doesn't necessarily have to be the 180. The primary thing, and Brother Wekesa, you could verify if I'm correct in this. The primary thing is to get your cardiovascular system pumping. That's the primary thing to help to combat to combat the COVID virus, and that's the most primary thing. So we need to take small steps, so then we can get bigger. And so if you continue on doing that, then over a period of time you're going to find that your whole body will get stronger. It's not going to get weaker. Mind you, your body's can go through different formations as you're getting stronger, and that's okay. And you're gonna feel different types of pains and aches, and that's okay. You got to remember that if you get sore doing exercise, there's nothing wrong with being sore. All that is, everybody says, I want a relief when I get sore. No, if you're sore, praise yourself for being sore. Because that means you done some work. You work some muscles that you never used. And your body is repairing itself. That's all it does. So that's all you have to do is remember that, and trust me. I tell you, go out there and slap it with the same thing that punished you the day before. And just keep on doing it. But remember, always get that 1 day's rest.
Good. All right. See, y'all, see what's needed very often is you need somebody who's really gentle. And Earl is that. And I also say, get your butt on up and jump as hard as that to what that 180 as you can get. Okay. Now, I appreciate what he's saying, but like decide that you're gonna get it. Okay. Because often we reduce what we believe we can do. Okay. I want you to go for it because I want us to live, y'all. See, I'm not pretending that I'm gonna fight the virus. Okay. Y'all, I bike 100 miles. Okay. I'm 65. All right. And ain't nobody, my number is 105, but let me start talking. Appreciations, anything you're taking away from this evening, whether it's tangible or intangible, this is how we make community. Just make it true.
Can I want to?
Yes.
I want to talk about the authentic, emotional, and cultural connection. I did it this weekend. I hadn't figured a way out how to get my 86-year-old mother to download Zoom. And then I woke up in the middle of the night after last Thursday's class because I couldn't stop thinking about it. And I woke up in the middle of the night. I just said, just send her an invitation and talk her through.
Right.
Which is what I did. My brothers and my mother all called me today because I set up the family meeting this weekend, and they all told me how powerful it was. So I have to thank Aya for this because it gave my family so much energy.
We will come out of this stronger if we deepen our family connection, even though there's a difference between physical distancing and social distancing. Okay? We can be physically distant. Okay, Mama Ellen.
Thank you. This was my first night being in this community, and I feel so empowered. And I'm going to keep coming back. But tell me, what is moat? I don't know what that is.
Thank you. I explained it earlier, but I'm glad to explain it as many times.
Thank
Moat is from the tree language, okay? And it's also Ga. Both of them are Ghanaian languages. It's short for Monikasa. And Monikasa means good speech, good deed, great, like yo, like Ashe, all right? And so Moat is a way for us to affirm each other, our efforts and or what we did. Now, it's not Moat. You can't put it with a P on it, and you can't say Moat. No, you can't do that. Okay. You can't do that. Now, it's the energy of it, and it comes from the solar plexus. Moat. Okay, because that's what we receive from each other. All right. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. You're welcome. Next comment. Something you taking away.
This is Mama Fua from Chicago. I first want to say hello, shout out to Sister Patricia Nunley, who's my AECC buddy. You know me as Doris, but I'm also Mama Fua. I don't know why the new name is on there, but anyway, I want to thank Aya. I love Aya, Baba, and Mama. You all are the bomb, aging myself, and not only for the information you share with us. I really appreciate the discussion around the medical malpractice field, institution, all of that. Some of my stories, so this is all what I'm about to. And I appreciate so much the relationship that you all model for us. The joy, the love, the laughter, the fun stuff, okay, I got checked. Okay, it's cool. I really appreciate your authentic and emotional connection and sharing that with us. So I appreciate tonight and all the sessions that we've been having. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, Stacy.
Hello.
Hold on, Stacy.
Okay, first off, this is my first time, Chance's first time joining the Institute. I'm a mom of 4, and I want to improve myself and improve my family. And I just think this is a plethora of knowledge, and I want to get into it and be a part of this family. You guys are all a blessing, and thank you so much for letting us be a part of this. Thank you.
Stacy, we have a whole middle school, high school curriculum, both courses and all of that. So
I have all adult children except Chance, who's 5.
I got you. All right, beautiful.
Okay. But he's coming.
He's coming. I got it. All right.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Rashida Foreman Bay.
I can get on, but I think you're looking for some. But anyway, I wanted to say, hey, I am so grateful again. This is my second time. But just like the other mama said, it inspired me. My husband and I, we had a session, and all of our children, and I don't call them stepchildren, but all of them.
You don't do that either.
That's right. But there are 10 of us all together. And all of the grandchildren, we all Zoomed together, and we all shared stories and stayed on for like 2 hours from all over the country, and it was beautiful. So thank you for this.
Controlling the narrative. If there are any psychologists on the board, you really understand the importance of storytelling. Okay? Chinua Achebe made a connection, a correlation between the West African storyteller and the Western psychologist. Okay? And that's something we get into, but literally when we talk about storytelling from the inside out, we talk about some serious business. Okay? And so that we know how to do that. Let me be quiet again. Anybody else want to take this? Yes.
Hi, this is Mama Dawn. I want to thank you, Baba. Every time this is like my 4th time, I believe, maybe 5th. I'm always inspired. My children are always listening in the background, and so they're learning, and so that's exciting. But I'm going to take with me today, and I'm going to post it up on my wall for my family. P plus T equals E. So I'll know where my power and my time, so I know what I'm getting out on the income of my energy. And so I will use that and move forward. And we do our 180 diligently as a family.
Come on, there you go. All right, anybody else?
All I can say is I've been sharing it with friends and family. Some of them have joined, some of them haven't, but it's good information, and I think it's needed at this time, especially with the misinformation that we're receiving on a daily basis. So Asante Sana, Baba.
Thank you, Baba. Thank you. Keep sharing it. And, you know, we always believe that whoever's in the room is who the Creator sent in the room, okay? And that's how our eye has been forever and a day, you know, so whether it's 5 or 500, you know, Sister Domino, we don't change, you know, and we give our best, whether it's 5 or 500. It don't, you know, because each of you that come is a blessing to us, and the work that we do is the work for our people. Okay, it's not new. We've been doing it for years, and we will do it. And that's why we also want your support, because we're not new. We're not fly by night. We're not, you know, flash in the pan. The work is deep, and the more support we can get, the more we can get it out, and the deeper it can be. Trust us on that. All right, I'll take 3 more, because I know I don't want to make you happy twice. You know, now I'll tell that some of you heard it, because in a minute Afia's going to say, "I hear your mama talking with us," and what that is my mama. Again, if y'all can see the one that says Bonnie, the picture of the person that's Bonnie, her background is my mother. Okay, that's my mother, Tula Nagwe. All right, otherwise known as Maggie Wright. And so I was a teenager, and I was going to visit somebody, and she said, "Well, son, don't make them happy twice." And I said, "What are you talking about, mama?" And I ignored it the first time. The second time, I said, "What do you mean? Isn't it good to make people happy a lot of times?" She said, "Son," and the way she said it, you know, when somebody said it like that, you know a lesson is coming, right? She said, "Well, make them happy to see you come, but not happy to see you go. Don't overstay your welcome." Okay, and so I don't want to make you happy twice. So we'll take at most 3 people. Others you can type in the text chat. Again, there will be no Thursday classes. There will be Saturday classes. There will be Monday and Saturday all the way through the 1st of June. But then there are other classes for those people who joined, for those people who members, for those people who came, you get to know about how to continue to deepen this. So anybody else want to say something that you're taking away? Yes, fire tablet, Shashat.
Peace and blessings, giving thanks to you and Mama Afia. And I wanted to express my gratitude for being in the space of all African people. It just doesn't happen enough. And so I'm very grateful for that. I think we can sometimes in spaces like this take it for granted, but I've been in other meetings similar, and you know, you look up and it's like somebody crept in.
Yeah,
And so
no, yes, thank you. Thank you. No, we need a safe place to be African. All right. Now, we do, I mean, Aya does some diversity and all of that. When we call it CHC, we do that training. We do it well. I've done it for years. But that's a different environment. All right. We need a space that's our space where we're not carrying other people and wondering what they're thinking and saying and all that stuff like that. Okay. What they're thinking about us and all the other stuff that comes up that we got to help heal from. So I appreciate it. This is a safe place to be African. All right, I'll take two more.
So Wakesa.
Yes.
And Mama Afia, I want to thank you for the invitation that came through Mama Deborah, because my spirit needed to be in this space in Brooklyn and New York. It's just been awful. And being an elder within my family, I get the call to, yes, I'm being checked on, but I'm also being looked to give support, particularly within my mother's organization, the Mother's Agenda of New York, the many, and to be positive and upbeat, and of course, keep myself well, check on my children. But emotionally, that toll, in the quiet times, the sadness, the hearing of the sirens, it just has been a lot. And I appreciate being in this space and learning about allomelanin. And I wrote down all the names of the black mushrooms, the black seed oil, the cumin seed, the black palmetto. So those are things that now I have something other than all this mess and the wonderful work that I do have to do. But now I can go and do this research and dig deep, and that also fills my soul, fills my spirit with positivity. So I want to say thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And bless you all in this space. May all your families and your children, your relatives, your friends, may they all be safe. And I'm sending light and love to you all.
Yes, well, we're going to wrap our love around all of us in Brooklyn and other places as our families are going through it. Thank you, Mama Kimberly, for what you do. It did not get lost on us that you were on the front lines and working with folks with that intubation and doing what you can to make us, get us through. All right. And we appreciate that. We need to, all right. And we'll continue. And again, thank everybody for sharing resources. I said one more. So who's the last person to share any appreciations before we get out of here?
This is Brother Mbu. Appreciate you for breaking because which.
Okay, would you repeat that again?
Yes, this is Brother Mbu. I appreciate you for breaking and busting myths. I work in the communications industry, and I know for a fact they tell you look right, you better look left. And I also appreciate you tying in the political people with the pharmaceuticals, so that puts their agenda in some kind of framework. Because right now, they're just generating fear on top of fear on top of fear. And if you're not anchored in the truth, you can easily buy into it. So I appreciate you. And I appreciate everyone that was on board. And Mama Rashida, thank you for putting me down for this meeting. And I'll be back on Saturday.
No. Okay, so just quickly on Saturday, first of all, everybody take note that Thursday, we won't do Thursday, just to give us a little bit of breathing room between the two. And some of you come Thursdays and Saturdays too, and we're always happy to have you. You can keep coming back Monday for sure, inviting others Saturday. And what we're gonna do a little different for Saturday is let you know pretty soon which classes are gonna happen, so you can choose ahead of time. And we'll already know which one you're going to get as you come. So we'll also cut down on our time and breaking you into groups. We're always trying to do it differently to see what happens. So we're going to do that differently. I want to thank all of you who have become members, and thank people who are considering, and just looking forward to going on forward. Thank you.
No shade.
Okay, thank you. We've been on a little Sonny Patterson groove lately, and there's no reason to stop. We're going to end with a piece. She did 3 pieces on Letters from the Porch. Sonny Patterson is a spoken word artist. She lives in New Orleans. And so this is the piece we're going to use to send us out.
This is for those who work 25 hours a day for 24 cents an hour. It's for those who trod the street stress heavy, their feet strapped with anguish, backs bent with burden. It's for those who live between the lines of fear and confusion. It's for those whose eyes have witnessed the sunrise and they still question the awesome power of a supreme being. It's for those against the wall, or in the dust, or behind the bars, or on the other side of the barrel. It's for those who do not see God in the mirror, or a tree, or a blade of grass, a homeless man, a crescent moon, a drop of dew, a ray of sun, or a purple sky. It is for those who have given up on life and just wonder how they are still allowed to open their eyes real wide in the morning. And I say to you, it is not yet time to die. For seekers of a better way, for speakers of new words, for creators of another day, awake from your slumber, massive in number, as brave as thunder, as courageous as hope, as audacious as faith. I see heaven in your face. How does it feel just knowing that wherever you go, the holiest of holies is present in the form of you? Oh, this is for you. It's for your worth. It's nothing less than divine. I'm saying this for all of those who survive, who get up, who scream, even when the takers try and zap their dreams, who shout no, who cry yes, who feel the glory of victory boiling in their chests. It's for the lovers of love, for thinkers of peace, for workers of justice, field hands of freedom, whose voices ring high when vibrations are low. It's for the tillers of the earth and the seeds they sow. Grow big, grow long, grow up, and grow high. Rise and take your stance, because it is not yet time to die.
Whoa.
Mo.
In fact, it's time to thrive. Let's go get it. Y'all take care. See you on Saturday. Spread the
Good to
word.
see you, Benita.
Okay. All right, we can hold 100 people up in here. Come on, get them in here. All right. Take care, y'all.
Thank you. Take care.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Make sure you copy anything from the text chat you need to copy. All right, and please consider joining us and supporting us at whatever level you can for as long as you can.
Peace.
What was the young lady name that went on?
Peace and love.
Yes.
I'm sorry, what was it, Mama Dawn?
What was the artist name that just went off?
Oh, Sonny Patterson, S-U-N-N-I, Patterson.
Thank you.
You'll find her on YouTube.
Letter from the Porch.
Mm-hmm.
Take care, Baba.
Yo, take care. Y'all peace.
All right.
I'm out of here.
Baba.
Number 4.
Yep.
Love you, love.